In this lesson, we're going to take a look at writing equations for parallel lines. All right, so how do I write equations for parallel and perpendicular lines? Remember, parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines have the opposite reciprocal slopes. Write an equation of the line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the given line. So step one, we need to calculate the slope. So let's take a look at this first one, and I have y is equal to negative x plus 2. So our slope, remember, is the number with that variable right here. And I don't have a number in front of that variable, but I have that negative sign, meaning that there's going to be a negative 1. So my slope is going to be negative 1. The second step then is to find the y-intercept. You're going to substitute and solve for b. So before I do that, though, once I know what my slope is, I get rid of that equation because it becomes confusing. We just want as little information in front of us as we possibly can so that we don't get confused. So I have a slope of negative 1 and I have a point of 2, 6. So I'm going to have my y is equal to mx plus b, and remember we're plugging in what we know and we're solving for what we don't. So I have an x and I have a y. So let's plug this in. So my y is going to be 6. My slope is negative 1. And my x, I'm going to plug in a 2, and now I'm going to just solve for the b. So I have negative 2 plus b is equal to then 6. So let's get that b all by itself by adding the 2. And b then is going to be equal to 8. So now I have my slope and I have my y-intercept. So I can write my equation. Y is equal to negative 1x plus 8. All right, so let's look at this next one. I have the point of 9, 2, and I have y is equal to 2 all over 3x plus 1. All right, so again, the first step is to find that slope. And we know that our slope is 2/3. And again, once you know your slope, just get rid of that because it's just going to make things confusing. I'm going to label my x and my y and my point. And now we're going to plug in what we know and we're going to solve for what we don't. So if y is equal, y is equal to, mx plus b. And I'm going to plug in my y is 2. My slope is 2/3. My x is 9, and I have plus b. All right, 2 is equal to, 2/3 of 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6, plus b. And then I'm going to have minus 6. I'll have negative 4. So my y-intercept is negative 4. So now I have a slope and I have a y-intercept. So I'm going to have y is equal to 2/3 x minus 4. All right, so in our next example, we've got the point negative 3, negative 4. I have 2x plus y is equal to negative 1. All right, notice in this one, I do not have this in slope-intercept form. I have not solved for y, so I do not know what the slope is. So let's go ahead and just rearrange this equation here. To get y all by itself, I'll minus the 2x on this side, minus the 2x on this side, and I have y is equal to negative 1 minus 2x. All right, so our first step then is we need to find the slope. Our slope then we know is going to be equal to, it's this number with the variable, negative 2. And again, now I have my slope, just get rid of your equation there. And we have an x and we have a y. All right, so let's plug it all in. We have y is equal to mx plus b. We have the negative 4 for y. We have a negative 2 slope and a negative 3 for the x. All right, let's solve. I have negative 4 is equal to positive 6. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Plus b, let's minus a 6. And b is going to be equal to then negative 10. So now that I have the slope and the y-intercept, I'm just going to put it all in here. Y is equal to negative 2x minus 10. So in this lesson, we took a look at writing equations for parallel lines.